Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Jnanamulam Gurumurtihi Pujamulam Gurupadam Mantramulam Guruvakyam Mokshamulam Gurukrupa Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Om Shri Nana Paramatmane Namaha.
Thank you, Krishna. Om Sri Nana Paramatmane Namaha. So let us welcome Enrique today.
Thank you.
Enrique, yeah. So Luis, all the devotees will know because Luis was quite regular, and then Nana would speak about Ramakrishna a lot to Luis, and he has made a few travels also with Nana. So Enrique is Luis' brother, elder brother, and as Nannagaru says, like grace can reach through silence. And you were one such devotee. I mean, I don't know. The word devotee also sounds actually funny because we are devotees of the universe. I mean, the universal oneness, which is Nana, in form. So he was guiding you all through from the experience that you have told me already and which you will share today with us. It's going to be amazing, Enrique, because the sudden revelation of the truth in his presence is something very beautiful and extraordinary. Though it is the most natural thing because it's our true self.
Yes.
Before we start with your session, I would like to say a few words about two beautiful souls. I mean, two beautiful devotees of Nannagaru who were teaching Nannagaru subject, who were preaching, because it's more important to keep in touch with the subject Nana spoke tirelessly all his life, because he has dedicated his entire life to preach to people who did not understand silence. And you were the lucky lot who understood silence and who could receive his grace in silence itself. And it's very nice to connect you people and talk to you so that, the value of silence is more profoundly known. Yeah. And these two were, one of them was Rajeshri and one of them was Padma. The two devotees that left recently, September 5th. One of the devotees left her body due to cancer, and my sister Padma left her body on the 25th due to lung fibrosis. So one due to cancer and one due to lung fibrosis. And yes, now why I would like to speak about them for a few minutes is because they lived a very exemplary life, Enrique. You might ask how. I mean, see, they're also like everybody else. They also, we all eat food, we sleep. Everybody does the same activities. And what makes a person exemplary? It's like, we do not live by food alone. We do not live by bread alone, but we live by the word of God. So similarly, they lived by the word of God, or at least they tried their best to live by the word of God all through their life. I mean, the practice that they made to live to please the Lord rather than please the ego. You know, their activities or their behavior or the way they spoke, it reflected their goodness, it reflected their intelligent living and the goal of human life. Both of them had goal as self-realization. So they lived in such a way that they will reach their goal. And that was, I mean, both were unique in their own way. Rajeshri auntie was a little extrovert and Padma was introvert. It's not to compare them, but I will tell you how beautiful each one is, though they are very different in make. Okay, so Padma was dynamic. She was also both introvert and extrovert. Like she spoke when she had to, and she was quiet mostly when not required. She was a person of few words. And Rajeshri was auntie who, you know, like who inspired people with her speech. You know, who went out of her way to help people through. You know, like whoever were in pain or suffering, she would, you know, like pass on the message of Nannagaru, and she would best to utilize the time to remove the suffering of others, you know, like remove the pain of others through Nannagaru's subject, you know, through Nannagaru's subject. Because Nana's whole life, his very preaching was to bring humanity out of suffering. More than self-realization, because Nana in interviews, he always said that when he was asked, what is the goal? What is your purpose of your life? He said, my purpose is to bring people out of suffering, a sorrowless state. So he aimed for a sorrowless state for people. He said, probably we cannot do it to the whole world. See, you can't do it to the whole world, but a realized soul, through him, the whole world will benefit directly or indirectly. Probably in their physical presence, we benefit a lot. Even in their absence, because they are not limited to their body, because they are not limited to that frame, they are all pervasive. So wherever there is a truth seeker, the truth seeker shall receive the grace in their heart, the way you did.
Yes.
So
yes.
both of them were spiritual teachers actually. But Padma and Rajeshri were spiritual teachers. They had a lot of Nana's grace. He trained them, you know, like directly and indirectly to, you know, do the right teaching in the right way. Not just, you know, by heart something and repeat it. It's not like a parrot talk where it learns a few words and it repeats. It was not like that. They were following what he spoke. They imbibed the subject. They lived it, and they also received a lot of strength, grace from within, and that strength and the purity they had made them good teachers, Enrique. And they were exemplary because the suffering they had, be it Rajeshri auntie or Padma, they were fearless. They did not panic about their disease. They did not complain about it. They very gracefully accepted it as every other part of life, any other circumstance of life, until they breathed their last. They had been constantly in the presence of Nana in the heart. So the departure for them was a peaceful departure into silence, which is such a beautiful thing. Because
Indeed.
the mind is full of chaos always. It's either wavering or it's disturbed. It's not at peace because mind itself is disturbance. So if they could rest in the heart in silence, when body was tossed to and fro with the disease, when it was tossed with pain and suffering, to center themselves in the heart and not be unperturbed by the physical pain or suffering was something extraordinary. And that's the reason both of them we felt were exemplary, because the way they lived was the way they taught. I mean, what they spoke, they have implemented and they proved it. So today, because last Sunday, I mean last month, first Sunday, you were supposed to speak. We had to postpone yours. So, so within this span, we had, like it was a lot of gratitude to both the souls who, taught us a lot before they left. So now we shall move on to Enrique's journey.
Well, my journey with Nannagaru.
Yeah, you can. In general, how?
Yeah, it was short period of time, but it's not important the quantity.
Yes.
The most important is the quality.
Yeah.
And for me, as introduction, I can say that to meet Nannagaru probably has been one of the most important things in my life, and definitely for me, the most important person I've ever met in my life has been Nannagaru. And I didn't realize at that time I met. It was a few 2.5 years before he passed away. He left his body, but I realized day after day after meeting him, and because something it has been changing inside me, growing spirituality, the awareness, consciousness, everything after meeting him, and hello.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, before of it, as you've been telling in with your words, but at the end everything is same. Is like everything happens for good, and everything is the way on the right way to who guide us to someplace better, somewhere else good, better, the best, no? So I see my, if I take the keyboard and see and play backwards, I can see my life like everything in my spiritual life. It has been a preparation to meet Nannagaru afterwards. Like, for example, I was born here in Spain in a Catholic family, and I went to a Catholic school, and in that Catholic school, the priest and the nuns, the monks, touch us about the Jesus Christ, the Bible, the spirituality, the saints, and all of beautiful things and persons, and the good behavior, how to pray, and everything, and this, when you are, it's good when you are a child, you have these thoughts, this consciousness, and then to keep on going to church, to pray, and then you are growing up. My uncle also knows Nannagaru.
He was quite close. I mean,
yeah, Rafael.
In the heart, they were very close to each other.
Yeah, Nannagaru says uncle to my uncle, because I don't know. It seems in a previous life something happened. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, he said he belongs to us.
So my uncle, when here in Spain, nobody knows. I mean, everybody was 99.9% of the people was Catholic, and nobody listened a single word about spirituality, meditation, and normal practices in India since centuries.
Yes.
Here it was completely unusual, and my uncle has this want to follow this meditation, the path, and this kind of thing. So, when I was a child, in my uncle's house, there was a satsang every Sunday. So some periods I go more often, some periods, when you are 16, 15, 17, you want to go out with your friends, and Sunday evening, no, I don't want to go to the satsang. But little by little, you go on the track more and more and more and more, and the year was running, and when my brother Luis met Nannagaru and became his devotee, he can't stop talking about Nannagaru, obviously. And there was a day I really felt the necessity to go there and visit and meet Nannagaru, because I don't know why. I don't know why. It's just, there's things who happens in life, like why I have so strong determination to go for it. Because I thought this gentleman is going to abandon his body soon, and I really have to meet him. I have to go to visit him in his house, in Jinnud. So never ever before I took holidays for Easter time, but this year my brother and me took holidays for Easter and visited Nannagaru after a long trip, because this is to go till Jinuri is a long way from here.
Yes.
So, but it's definitely worth.
Most precious one.
Wow, it was awesome.
Yes.
So once I met him only once, but I think before I know, I was Nanna's devotee, because it was, I remember we took land in Rajmandri, and Sunil picked us, my brother and me, from the airport, and very, very gently leave us. He told us this Nannagaru is going to give a conference introducing Ramana's book about Ramana's life or something. I didn't understand because I can't speak Telugu, unfortunately. So we went to Bhimavaram with him. I was exhausted. I can't remember one time more exhausted than this one. But we went there, and I start feeling something really powerful, something really strong, very big, very important. And I talked to my brother. Oof, there is a big energy, big spiritual atmosphere here. But there was several people talking. It was a Swami, the writer of the book, Nannas, and somebody else. I don't know. And I told my brother that maybe this is a lot of energy here, because of there is a lot of important people here. And my brother said, wait for tomorrow, and you will realize. And then the day after, this day after the conference, I remember I was completely bathed in joy, because of the happy meeting. I was looking at him at like 50 meters distance, but it was awesome. It was awesome. Then Sunil took us afterwards to the hotel. And I can't remember the name of the place. It's near Jinuri. Palakolu. That's right. And the day after, we went to Nannagaru's, and I could realize it was Nannagaru's grace. Was bathing all of us in grace the day before, and it was absolutely shocking in a positive way for me, because I was sitting and Nannagaru came into the darshan room in his house, the hall, and look at me. It was like a reflect. Look at me and do like that, and it was like, wow. And it was like, oh my goodness, it's so powerful, so big. It's difficult for me to explain in English, because English is not my mother tongue. And also, it's also difficult to explain in my mother tongue, because it's sometimes not easy to explain with words.
Yes, because grace cannot be explained, because when you experience it, it's a silent state where there's no speech or mind involvement there. So you can't put it into words, and yes, we totally understand.
Great, fantastic, and it was just great. I mean, unfortunately, as I told you, I couldn't understand a single word in Telugu, but
Yeah.
it
You
was
had
definitely
you had that instant experience of not the body, not the mind, not the world, nothing, but your true self, a reflection of the true self you were.
yes,
Yeah, completely
yes.
at peace in silence and the experience of total, joy. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I mean, it's you can't explain it. We can use all the adjectives, but
Not enough. It's not enough, and it's not the appropriate word. I think.
it's because it's abstract. You can't define something which is abstract.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. The days afterward, the days was passing by. This day was really important. The first day with Sunil. The next day in Nana's house, it was also amazing. We visit Ramana Shetram, and uh, I can appreciate, the day after of the first days in Jinur. Nana took me in the heart, and again it was an grace explosion.
Yeah.
So metaphorically talking, I couldn't recover. I didn't recover myself since past day. Then again, a bath of grace and a bath of grace. It was like, oh my God, this is too much. This is high voltage talking in
Yes.
grace. So
Yes.
I need some time afterwards because the experience. Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't explode a person so many times without giving much gap.
Yes, 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 yes. And the day after we travel with him in the car with him and with Buji and the car driver, I can't remember his name, to Vishakhapatnam. And I thought that, my goodness, it is that level of grace. I can imagine in a car with Nannagaru with that level of grace. This is going to be, but it's a beautiful trip because in this trip and afterwards in Vishakhapatnam, I really could see the human facet of Nannagaru because in Jinur it was like it's a big soul, definitely. It's a really really spiritual person, a big soul, and strong. But then the second part was the human. My brother and me, we can feel how he looked after us like a father, he was worried about us. First time it was a little bit strange because there's some cultural differences that you can do things here that is not allowed to do there, and vice versa. So they do some things that it was a little bit weird for us, but when you see the whole film, you really appreciate and you see how it is looking and worrying about us, about well-being in India and the traveling and everything, and afterwards, no.
Yes.
And this I see really I realized that he was really a saint, and what else I can say is the last time he told me when he because we back to God, we've been there 1 week and we will be back to Spain.
Yeah.
We went back to Spain, sorry, and when we saying him goodbye, and he told us next time you come to India, you have to visit Arunachala. And unfortunately, now is coronavirus and everything. I still cannot go there, but this is something that we have to do, probably Luis and me together. And will he recommend me I go to Arunachala? So I'll definitely go there. Because, I didn't know at that time. I realized afterwards, but since that time or even before, definitely he was my guru, my Nannagaru.
Yeah.
So, so,
So was there a difference between your, like the way you lived your previous life and after the explosion of experiences you had in his presence? Was there a difference in the way you were thinking, or was there a difference in the way you perceived things, unlike before?
yeah, these are little changes day by day
Yeah.
that make a big change. That makes a big change.
Mm-hmm.
Is, for example, I know because you read, sacred books or books who write people aware. But I, when you keep in touch with the grace, you start changing, and you realize, for example, something which is simple maybe for you and for Nanna's devotees, but it's not so simple for the rest of the world or majority of the world, which, for example, the idea all of us are one. This is
Yeah.
now is not difficult to understand for us, but if you explain to somebody on the street, oh, all of us are one, all of one are us, they are going to say, yeah, you are a little bit crazy, eh? But
Of course.
this concept,
Of course.
is is coming to you very natural, very
Mm.
smooth, but
Mm-hmm.
it happens after
Yeah.
because I have read before all of that, and I think to myself, yeah, all of us are all of one are us, but I don't really believe it, and once you believe, it's something who comes smoothly and get
Yes.
installed in your hardware.
Yes.
So
Yes. Like he
things like
says,
that,
no, everything.
little things like that happens naturally. Nothing spectacular, no
Yeah, of
fireworks,
course,
no.
of course. No, no,
But
no. Of course, like Nannagaru says, no, everything happens in its own time.
hmm,
Everything happens in its own time.
hmm, hmm,
Yeah, yeah. And also like he works through more through silence, because
hmm,
what he speaks is limited to the audience that are sitting there, or that's what he said, no? There are many
hmm,
instances where he said, if speech is silver, silence is gold.
hmm.
And also like
Very
there's
good,
this,
very good.
yes, because because Nannagaru used to speak in Telugu most of the times. It's very few times, very occasionally that he addressed in English when
Hmm,
anybody approached him who did not know Telugu.
hmm.
And he would say, like jokingly for fun, he would say, we are all talkers and these people are meditators.
But it was so
And
easy in his presence to be deeply meditation. So why
yes,
not?
yes, and yeah, yes, and the true meaning of meditation also, he said, the meditation is a state of no mental activity.
Hmm,
A true meditation is a state of
yeah.
no mental activity and
Yeah.
silence. Yeah,
Hmm,
yeah,
hmm, hmm,
yeah, and that silence would come spontaneously in the presence of a Sadguru.
hmm,
There could be
hmm,
a lot of teachers, there could be a lot of gurus in the world, but only in the presence of a Sadguru can
hmm,
you, connect instantaneously to the truth within you, because they are that one which we cannot comprehend now.
hmm. Yeah,
This
yeah, yeah,
oneness,
yeah,
which this oneness, Enrique, that they spoke about, all these Sadgurus, be it Ramana or Ramakrishna or Nannagaru or Jesus or whatever, like, I mean, like whoever saints that visited the earth, I mean, to preach the truth to humanity,
yeah. Hmm,
the truth is within. I mean, this is one essential point which most of the population miss.
hmm,
And no matter how much we talk or how much we do, the essence of spiritual life is knowing that true God or truth. I mean, even if you are a believer or non-believer, you're a Christian or a Hindu or a Muslim or a Sikh or whatever, whichever color you are, whichever caste, creed you belong to, or whichever nation you belong to. He resides, you can't even say he and she because energy is not he or she.
Definitely.
Yeah, so because unless we pick a gender, we can't, define the abstract. So, yes. So it's a beautiful experience of the truth in your very own heart. Heart again is not your organ, like it's not like organ of your lung or kidney or liver or the heart that pumps blood. So it is a spiritual heart because again, everything has to be defined if it's put in words. Because knowledge imparting needs language.
Yeah. Eckhart Tolle used to say, go farther than words to understand.
Yes. And that's how you didn't have a word with Nana. You just have been in his presence. You traveled all the way from Spain to India. You traveled all the distance to him with no expectation, but just to see him, because Louis was a constant traveler and he spoke a lot about him, and you wanted to see him before he really left his body because you felt he was somebody great. You had nothing else in mind. But the moment you were in his presence, you could feel the vastness of holiness around him. You could feel that beautiful holy energy around him. It took you by a shock, as you said, a positive shock.
Yeah, of course. 1000%. Couldn't be other way. He's a saint.
Yeah. So,
even if
also,
he hits you, it's positive.
Yes. So it's like you had an instantaneous connection with Nana in the heart. It's like heart spoke to heart. There was no language. There was no barriers. The oneness that he was experienced by you in his presence spontaneously and naturally. Yeah. And for that, I mean, there need to be some preparation and ripeness in you for you to receive that.
Yeah.
That's why Nannagaru said it's not what you see with your eyes or what you hear or what you perceive, because truth is beyond all these. And how it sparks in each individual could be different. Yeah. So we can attribute anything to anybody, but it's beyond attributes. Yeah, that's why truth seeker, you are aware of it or you're not aware of it. What you are internally, a guru knows because he is the one that resides in your heart. But the true guru or Sadguru is the one that is residing in your heart because they are not bound to their body. They are not bound to this body-bound I because they do not have that. The body-bound I has vanished and they have become one with the universal truth.
Absolutely.
And that truth we perceive in his presence when you are ripe enough and you don't require words for communication.
But despite of it, we have some little conversations. Yeah, we have some, yeah. And then I realized because of the conversation that how they care about us, they treat us, they look after us in this little conversation, because he was normally talking in Telugu, but sometimes they call us and simple things like how are you going to treat from here to here in India, or what is the language of Spain, or simple things like that. But
the care that he showed.
He was going farther than words, definitely.
Yes.
And then also this is a thing that I didn't know. I can feel the depth of this farther than words till after the trip to Nannagaru's place.
Yeah.
So
because
then I start understand a lot of things. For me, it wasn't like that before.
Yeah, because it's universal love. It's not a love to just a relative love or a friendship love or a lover's love. It's much, not even a mother's love. It's much beyond, because you evolved from him, Enrique. I mean, your very soul has, no. I mean, arose from the heart. See, if you see it now, this life, even if you think it's one life or if you think this life, You have this body, you have this feeling of nationality, or I think I'm an Indian, you think you're Spanish. Your language is different, my language is different. But the core, the inner being, the inner truth is one and the same for everyone, which is devoid of form. It's devoid of name and form. So the very essence of human life is to realize that you are not this body, you're not this mental frame, you are much beyond the divine source, which is in your very heart. To get back to your divine source, this is a gift. The human life is a gift presented to you to realize the divine here and now.
Yeah. No, this is another thing that awake inside of me.
Yeah. So that awakening, when we experience in Master's presence, we will realize that this is the truth and not the life that we are living, or not the body that we think it is us, and all this is but an illusion. At least we sense it, that this is not the truth. There is a truth beyond all what we see and hear.
Yeah.
Also, we realize that it's not the mind that is identifying with the body. So, as you said, naturally, I mean, though we have glimpses of truth, we do not get established in the truth unless we remain focused in the source. Right? If mind is getting distracted to various other things in life, we have tendencies. Nannagaru says, no, even Buddha said, Buddha's words, Nannagaru would very beautifully explain Buddha, the Buddha.
I don't know.
Yeah, so he was one of the greatest realized masters who had this extreme compassion for humanity. He was realized also, and he also preached. Of course, all of them, all the saints or Sadgurus preached through silence, and those who received silence did not need words, but those, it's very difficult to comprehend silence for many. So for those, they spoke, and as you said, their speech also came from love and truth. It was not words from a mental conditioning or a physical conditioning. They were not preaching about God, they were living God. The saints were not preaching God, they were living God, and preaching came through the truth.
That's why I tell you, even if it hits you, it's a blessing. It's not going harmfully.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because generally sermons are from what we comprehend from the scriptures we talk. But saints are those who are God incarnated. God has revealed himself in the heart as the truth. And so in their presence we feel God, we feel the divine. And we will realize that this is the most beautiful experience you can ever have.
Of course.
And we will want it again and again, because that is the only sacred space. Untouched by anything. Pure, beautiful, blissful state. And you cannot be that as a mental you, or like conditioned to the mind. So, these glimpses in the Master's presence make us realize, yes, that is the truth, and rest of it is not, though we are under the notion that this is the truth, or we perceive it as the truth. So that is where the actual spiritual life begins, Enrique.
Hello.
That's where that's where our actual spiritual life begins. The first awakening in your heart, the true you, when it awakens in you, that's when our spiritual sadhana begins. As you said, maybe we do not feel that we are making an effort. But the truth that has chose to reveal itself will take care of the soul's journey to return home. And as you said, naturally there will be a slow transformation, and we will totally dissolve, as mind, as the body, mind, intellect, the BMI complex dissolves slowly in His grace, and we reach there, actually when all the tendencies are erased. Though we experience truth occasionally, what happens is the tendencies keep bringing the mind back into your head.
Yes.
For everybody, common. It's a common thing. Or else we would all be realized by now.
It's like that.
Being with such a great master, we would have all been jnanis by now.
Yeah.
What makes us not to settle in the truth and come out as the mind and again perceive things and look at things the way we want to is again the tendencies that are hidden in the heart for very long time. You know, what we brought with lot of love and affection will not leave you and go. Unless they create a pain in you and you will feel, no, this is not what is true. See, when what you ran after gives you pain, or when you are attached to something and it gives you pain, then you realize, no, this is not worth it.
No.
Because nobody in the world will want pain or suffering, Enrique.
Of course.
Why? Because that's not your nature. Pain, suffering, and all these negativity and all is not our true nature. Our true nature is always peace, silence, joy, and love. So whatever comes other than that, we reject it. And that's where comes the conflict in the heart. You know, the conflict of what is truth and how to get there. So the experience of truth will make you realize that the mind itself is a cheat.
It's an illusion.
So, yes. So earlier, if you did not experience it in the heart, if you did not experience the truth, you will constantly look only outside. You will only look at outsiders. You will only perceive others as different from you. You will have this separateness. I am different. They are different. There's no oneness. Only when there is oneness and there's no difference can you love all the way you love yourself.
Yeah. Yes. And also in this life, you're an Indian, you're a Spaniard, but maybe if it's next life, maybe I'm an Indian and you're a Spaniard, and I'm a woman and you're a man. So we are one, changing shapes and circumstances.
Changing shapes, sizes, and colors.
Yeah. Ingredients. But just an illusion.
Yes. So, see, materialism can take its shape or, color or anything, but energy is energy.
This is
so
permanent.
All we need to do is shift our focus from the material to energy. The whole essence of spiritual life is shift your focus from the material to the energy.
Switch off the brain a little bit.
Gross to subtle.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
But all of these things you are starting to realize afterwards when you receive the positive shock. Then you start waking you up gradually, and then you realize, because if we keep this conversation 5 years before, probably I don't see it. I disagree with you from my brain, obviously. Now I can see much more clearer. So
yeah. I mean, your very perspective of looking things changes. Yeah. I mean, it makes you more. It makes you more calm. It makes you more forgiving. It makes you more adaptable.
Yeah,
sometimes
differences. In the process, it's possible to feel anger or.
Yes, of course.
When you are in the process of a change, it's possible you feel like you are realizing, for example, you are feeling something like hate towards whatever. But this then after a little time, disappeared, and this
Yes.
is maybe a clash of your
Yes.
past
Yes.
life with your future life or something like that.
Oh, no, it could be, I mean, it could be the tendencies. It is tendencies, Enrique. What brings up, what comes out is our tendency. The conditioning that we are the body for a very, very long time. So we are stuck under the notion that we are the body. So anything related to the physical body, be it your relations, be it your friends, be it your colleagues, or be it your workplace, you have, I mean, when there is a friction, or when there is a misunderstanding, or when there is, misunderstanding between, or miscommunication, it gets irritable at times. It does get irritable because everything again is centered around the body.
It's purifying process.
It's a purifying process for you or me, anybody. Unless we are completely pure, the truth is completely pure, the purest of the purest. And we with tendencies are impure. So because of this impurity, the religion called us a sinner. All the religions call us sinners. But the revolutionary thing about these self-realized masters, the revolutionary thing, Enrique, they never called us sinners. They said, you are not the sinner. You are not the sin. You are the truth. You are the divinity that shines in the heart. It's just that you have forgotten who you are. Because you considered the body real, you considered the world real. So thinking it's real, you have done certain things which caused the impurity.
Yeah.
So now you don't need to, knock your head saying, I am a sinner, I have sinned, I have done this, I have done that. Or I am good. Now suppose, okay, sinners, that is one section of the people. Then there is one section of the people, okay, we are spiritual, or we are devoted, or we are good people, or we are people who serve. And then what comes? A superiority comes. Okay, I am the good one, and I help the poor, or I help the needy, or I help the people suffering. So there's no difference between the two, Enrique. There's no difference between the two, because even this identification that you are the sinner, you're wrong, you're bad, is the ego. You are good, you're serving, or you're doing great things, is also the ego. Truth is beyond both. That's why the essence of spirituality is in your actions without doership.
Yeah.
Only thing that can bring you back to the oneness that you are, the true state, is working without the feeling that I am so and so. I am so and so. I am an Indian. I am a woman. I am a doctor. Or I am a married woman. Or I am not married. And this is my child. Or this is my financial status. Or this is my kids. Or this is their achievement. Or this is my achievement. All this is nonsense, Enrique. But we think it's great. Because in the world, success is defined by how much you earn, or what your financial condition is, or how great you appear, or your presentation, or how you dress, or how you talk, or how you present yourself. But in spirituality, all this is utter nonsense. So we are swimming against the current.
Yeah.
So it's not easy. That's why it's not easy.
Yeah. And also your tendencies are your brain are trying to get back to the other track.
Yes.
Oh, back to the world.
Yes.
Come here.
So
go to the restaurant.
Yes. So this is where lies the sadhana of a true spiritual truth seeker. This is where lies. This is where we need discrimination. This is where we need intelligence, or this subtle intelligence, where we need to understand that simple truth is very, very, very simple. and purest of the pure. You can get there by removing all the notions that you are so and so. Removing all the notions that you think is me and mine. And the actions that you do, you don't attribute it to, I have done this, I have done that, I am so and so, or I am so and so. You just have to be without all these notions and attributes. Our entire practice should be to, stay still. Like Nana said, meditation is nothing but devoid of mental activity. It's a state devoid of mental activity. So, as you said, the tendencies will bring the mind into the world because it has acquired, the tendencies were acquired with lot of affection and passion. So today if we say, you please go out, it will not. And there comes the struggle to let go. So there's nothing that we have to acquire here, Enrique. Actually, there's nothing to acquire here. There is only to let go of what you are not. And for that, as you said, the experience, this positive shock is very important.
Yeah. Of course, big way.
Yeah. So how do you comprehend this, and how do you feel should one in the West make an effort to, because you can connect to the Western world better than I do.
To the what? To the? I can connect
to the Western world. India is Eastern world.
Western
right?
world.
Yeah.
Okay.
World. Yeah.
No, you connect. You speak English so well, so you are connected to the whole world, to Eastern and Western.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I think I should thank Nana for that. No, that oneness that he imbibed. I mean, he not only made us absorb it through silence, through speech, through his actions, through his intimacy with the devotees. He made us drop all those notions which for probably generations we kept thinking is the right thing, or this is the thing to do. Slowly everything, it all happens naturally. As you said, there's nothing like hard and fast rule that this will happen by tomorrow, this will happen by day after tomorrow. No. The experiences, every mortal, every individual will experience through life a lot of things through which he will be made to understand and evolve. It will happen. It will happen to everyone, Enrique. There's nothing like being, we know better and they do not know better, because life is the biggest teacher.
Yeah.
And silence is everybody's master.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's nothing like I have a master and they do not have it. Everybody has silence as their master.
Yeah.
But they need to be, yes.
No, we all need a guru, because I think we all need a real guru,
yes.
100% guru.
Definitely, 100%, because
who guide us in the silence through the master.
Yes. That's why the role of guru is very important, Enrique. Though they are not the body, because they express the silence, they express divinity through every word and action of theirs apart from silence also. And as you said, they show this beautiful human aspect also, because they came as human beings here, but they know in their heart that they are one and they do not have a second. They don't identify with their own name and form.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, I can see how Nannagaru is not giving any importance to any material thing. Yes. For example, he normally don't use the teeth until he's going to eat, because teeth are for eating. So there's no point to keep the eyes, the teeth in the mouth if he's not going to eat. So it's 100% practical. No aesthetical, no anything. And
nothing.
Yeah. Also,
he would wear those sponge footwear that the ones we generally use for the restrooms, and he was quite comfortable with it. So his comfort mattered. That's all.
Yeah.
He was childlike. That's why Enrique, Jesus said in his sermons that you don't have to do great things or big things. You just have to become a child at heart. For you to experience the divine in your heart, you just have to become like a small child, where the child does not recognize you as so and so. He's different, she's different. They don't have, they don't have in their head gender. Children, now for example, your very son.
My son this morning, we went to the park, and there were a group of kids there, and he joined them and, can I play with you? Yes. And everybody was playing. So simple, easy.
Yes.
So when we became older, we get complicated.
So maintain,
get back to childhood.
Get back to simplicity. Get back to childhood. Get back to simplicity. Get back to oneness. Get back to the state where you have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
The way the kid is.
I met a person who told, because of it, I realize how much I suffer in my life once I get the enlightenment, I look my life backwards. I rewind my life in my mind or whatever, and I see how much I've been suffering before the enlightenment. So this also was so impressive for me. It's like, wow, I need to go there.
We need to get there, from darkness to light, from illusion to reality. Yeah. It's like waking up from a dream, Enrique, as Nannagaru says. It's a bigger dream. The dream that we get in our sleep is a small dream, and this life is a big dream. And once you awaken in the truth, you will know that nothing is real. It's all just a dream. The way you feel dream is real in your dream state. When you're sleeping and when you're dreaming, you don't think it's unreal, because the dream is true at that point of time. Similarly, it will appear as real as it is till you awaken in your heart.
Yes.
Once you awaken, you realize that this is all dream stuff. And I think many of the scientists and philosophers also, at one point of time, in their concentration and in their purity, when they were connected to their inner silence, great things were discovered, Enrique. Great things were not, discovered in chaos and in mental activity. It was discovered in silence and solitude. Because all miracles happen in the heart. All discoveries come from the deepest heart.
Now I know.
It's not just the brain work, because see, I think it was Shakespeare who said, no, our life is surrounded by a dream, surrounded by a sleep. We are dream stuff, and our life is rounded by sleep. We are such stuff as dreams are made on. Our little life is rounded with a sleep. So in this a philosopher said, Enrique, it was not a saint or a truth realized master. It was, like a philosopher in his, he was a writer. Shakespeare or Wordsworth, I don't remember. Krishna, I think it's Shakespeare, right? Yeah, Shakespeare. We are such stuff as dreams are made on. Our little life is rounded with a sleep.
It was Shakespeare, no?
Yeah, Shakespeare. Yeah, so yesterday actually when I was listening to this Nannagaru's one of his pravachans, he was telling in that, no, like one of the poets was asked, from where does your poetry come? It sounds so good. I mean, it's so, I mean, it's quite magical. And from where does this poetry come from? He says like a guest knocks your door, or like a snake comes out of a snake hole. That is how my poetry comes. Because if you ask how did the guest come and knock your door, or how did the snake come out of its ant hole?
Snake feet.
These ant hills, no, it comes out of that. So it comes
Yeah.
like that. My poetry also comes like that.
Yes, and for me, Nannagaru words, even in Telugu, it was like poetry because it sounds so good even if I don't understand it.
So that was music. Nana's words, for us, it was language. For you, it was music.
Definitely, definitely.
And this here is a great beauty, Enrique, because his speech was our discourse, right? Our spiritual discourse from Nana, words of grace, where he was pointing us to the truth, and he was guiding us how to get back to the truth we have evolved from. Okay? So these were the speeches that he gave. He was taking us back to our true home. He was taking us back to our reality. Okay? But at the same time, when you were around, when you couldn't understand the speech, or when anybody, not only you, any foreigner that had come to Nannagaru who did not understand the language, went to the same truth that we were listening to. Language was just a means of communication. But all of us were experiencing the same truth in his presence, no matter you understood the language or not.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the beauty of a Sadguru, Enrique. All the gurus could tell you the truth. They could read the scripture and reproduce it to you. But living the truth and experiencing the truth and imparting it to you is different, because he will not be, he or she, whoever has experienced this, is not apart from you. That is why they can see you as you are. That is why. Yeah. She again typed it. Yeah, I've already repeated the sentence many times.
Very good. Very good.
So it's like, so it's the most natural, beautiful, true state which we are. We have imposed it with a lot of things. And now we want to get back by, decoding everything.
Yeah.
We have made a lot of codes, now we are decoding it. And it happens only in the grace, because it's like these kids, they play and they knot a lot of things and you can't remove those knots. Playfully we make a lot of knots with a thread or something, and you can never pull out those knots. Somebody has to help you to remove it.
Yes.
So that's where Guru plays a very important role in our life, to entangle, to release us from the entangled thoughts. Guru's grace helps us to relieve ourselves from the entangled thoughts and attachments and the tendencies that we cannot remove by ourselves because we identify with them.
Yeah.
So unless he dilutes it, unless he releases it, unless he sets us free from these entanglements, we cannot go back to our source, Enrique. It's not as easy. It's not as easy as said.
No.
Yeah. The traps we got into. Nobody invited us. We self-invited.
Yes, it's like modern life. We live in big cities, lot of buildings, lot of cars, but it's too much noise. So it's not bad idea to go back to the nature, on the grass, sand, silence, birds, and then you feel much better with yourself than in is not is non-natural habitat.
Yeah.
The big cities, you know, a lot of concrete, and that this is aggressive against us, you know. It is, so it's the same way.
It's
The
like being with the
Guru,
master. Connecting to nature is connecting with the master because it gets you closer to your truth, to your reality. Yeah. That's why Nana imposed on solitude and silence, Enrique. He imposed, he stressed on the importance of solitude and silence. So the more and more you become silent, the more and more you practice silence, you will learn to sense the intuitive things. You know, your intellect will get sharpened, your intuition will get sharpened, and you can go with the flow of life unperturbed. That's when you'll feel the grace constantly flowing. And then you can become one with the flow of divinity. And that's when you will lose that which is not you. You will lose that illusion that I'm so and so and she's so and so. Or I belong to so and so place, she belongs to so and so place.
The fears,
everything
anxieties.
Yes. So everything is lost and we are one. That's what Nannagaru says. No? There is this song where God, oh God, beautiful, oh God, beautiful. Thou art high in the mountain, thou art green in the forest, thou art grave in the ocean, thou art restless in the river. So that is when we will perceive everything as the divine. And that's when you will know God is beautiful. I mean, we could say God is beautiful, but to feel and experience the beauty is a different chapter altogether.
No,
and
not
it's
physically
such
beautiful.
A wonderful. Yes.
It is beautiful, pure beautiful, not
pure,
physically beautiful.
Pure, not just physical that appears to the eye. It's complete pure beauty. Like this again, Shakespeare said, no, beauty walks on earth. Beauty walks on earth. So all these realized masters were the real pure beauty that walked on earth, who showed us how it is to live in the truth, as the truth. See, if, as you said, if they did not take a form and come, we would never comprehend it. And we would never know that the source is within and in the heart itself. So they came to point out the truth. They came to impart the knowledge that it is not external, it is not outside you. So no matter which religion you are, no matter what you pursue, no matter what business you do, no matter what your profession is, no matter what your academic excellence is or your financial status is, if you do not identify with it, it will not be a harm. But if you identify with it, harm, danger.
Yeah, hazard.
Yes, hazard, obstacle.
Yeah.
They are our obstacles. It's not wrong to have money in life. It's not wrong to be a doctor or an engineer or a businessman. It is wrong to think I am so and so.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say it's wrong because it's a wrong identity.
Yeah.
It's a wrong identity. You're identifying with yourself with the body. So today the body is there. Tomorrow it is dead. See, we have seen so many deaths. We have seen so many deaths among friends, family. We see so many deaths. We see so many deaths in the news. Due to coronavirus, people died. Due to accidents, they died. Due to wars, they died. Due to ill health, they died. Many, many things. So where did their identity go with the death? And we don't have to, talk about death. Forget, even in sleep, Enrique. Now every night all of us sleep. Where did your identity go in your deep sleep?
Why?
Yeah. In deep sleep. Yes. Nannagaru explained. This has already been explained a lot of times by Bhagavan, by all the saints, by all those who realize the truth. They have explained it very beautifully, Enrique. They said, you don't have to believe in God to believe this. You could be a believer, you could be a non-believer, you could think rationally. You do not have to call yourself I'm a believer or a devotee. This is common sense. So Bhagavan, especially Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, Bhagavan Ramana came to this world to logically, with a rational mind, you analyze and see for yourself who you are. You don't need to take supports, or you don't need to do anything. Just analytically reason and check. Where have you come from? Now you can say that God is there, God is not there. He says that it doesn't make any difference to God. You say God is there, you say God is not there, it doesn't make any difference.
No.
And he says, even if you say God, God is there, you do not know him. If you say he is not there, you do not know him. Both of you do not know him. Those who say I believe, those who say I don't believe, those who say God exists, those who say God do not exist, none of you know what God is. It's just what you have imagined to be. It's just what the books have told you. For yourself, have you ever experienced God? Apart from what is told from the external world or what is imparted to you through books, have you experienced God in your life? Now, he says, okay, no. I'm telling about the saint who wanted for rational mind.
Right.
Suppose you're not a believer, you have a rational mind. So he said, okay, you believe or you do not believe God exists or not. Do you exist or not? Bhagavan always questioned, if somebody came and asked him this question, does God exist or not? Then he asked, what is your problem? Why are you thinking about God and he exists or not is none of your business. Do you exist or not? That is, of course I exist. Right? God exists or not, you exist, right?
Yes.
So you exist. Now what? So now you exist as what? Who are you? Now you know that you exist. You don't have to ask your friend or your family to ask if you exist or not. Right?
Yes.
Right? You know you exist. So who are you? So if you question yourself, who am I? What do you perceive? What are you identifying with when you ask yourself, not others. You don't need to ask others who are you. You ask yourself, who am I? Then you will retrieve the outgoing mind, Enrique. So when you question who am I, you will know that you are not the body, because bodily activities change. Body changes. See, it is logic. It is pure common sense. You are born to specific parents. You grow. You are not the same. At day 1 you are different. Day 10 you are different. 10th month you are different. 10th year you are different. So your body keeps growing. Your body decays. Your body dies. Are you that body which is growing, decaying and dying?
No.
Suppose you think you are that. Then why do you fear death? Why do you fear pain? Why do you fear suffering? Why do you have a lot of fear when death comes? So you're identifying with your body. So okay, fine, you're identifying with your body. You're sleeping in the night every day. Every day everybody goes to sleep. Okay, without food you can probably sustain for a few days, but without sleep you can't sustain long. All of us, be it animals or human beings, every living being sleeps. So in sleep, do you have this identity with your body or the mind or with your relations or with so-called God? You're not identifying with anybody in your sleep. You're not identifying with the world. You're not identifying with your relations. You're not identifying with your body. You're not identifying with your mind. But are you disturbed or are you peaceful?
Peaceful, obviously.
Peaceful. And all of us crave sleep. I mean, crave in the sense we can't
Yeah.
live without sleep. All right. In 24 hours, we require at least 4 to 5 hours of sleep. So what happens? So he explained very beautifully, Enrique, what happens in sleep. Nannagaru, many times. This is where imparting truth through language is important.
Yeah.
Okay. So somebody is saying Enrique should speak and not Usha. Because it is an interactive session with Enrique and not, the sermon that I should give.
But this is good. Whatever what you're talking is beautiful. So I'm listening.
No, but people would like to listen from you.
Yeah, I agree with you that the body is just the car, the vehicle we use in this physical life to go through. In and out, farther, closer, but we are the travelers inside of the car. So yeah, after 10, 15 years, you get a new car, but you are the same. You are the person who are in the car.
Yes.
So you are not the car, obviously. Usha is not a Mercedes or a BMW. Usha is Usha.
Yes.
So that's it. I think it's like that. But your explanation was beautiful. So so I was listening to you.
Would you like to share something with the devotees? I mean, from your personal experience or from your life, would you like to share something with devotees?
This is mainly everything was said by you. All of us are one, or get back to the truth, or the purity, absolutely untouchable purity of the truth, and these little big things we are realizing in our process is said already. The simplicity and the difficulty because of the brain, the mind, and the noise of the world keep us apart from this truth.
Yes.
And but it's very important for me. Till now, the most important, according to physical life, is to get realized we are one. And then there will be the solution, for example, for a lot of wars, lot of pain in the world. If I do something wrong in my eye, if I put my finger in my eye, my whole body is going to suffer. So this is the idea, no? If I do something wrong in China, the rest of the world, we are connected.
Yes,
so
we are interconnected.
Makes no point, makes no sense to keep on doing bad things each other. So, and once you see this clearly, then you start to going deeply and deeply in the right way, in the right meditation, spiritual life, whatever. You are going to go to the root, to the sense of your living, to the being. So we can say millions words more, but this is, I think, what I learned from our dear Nannagaru. And I still want for me, because I'm in this life, I'm Western, and here is not so common like there. I learned lot of things in India, and it's not so common like, because we are, for example, people don't believe in reincarnation here. And for me, it hasn't been so simple to how to explain it. I forgot. Sorry.
Actually, that was the reason I was doing the talk. The only reason I was doing the talk is because I know your life. I know that how you came to visit Nana and the experience that you had, and I can connect to everything.
That's it.
And yeah,
It came. Sorry, Usha. Is I still can find Nannagaru's presence. For example, last month in September, it was supposed we are going to do this, and something happened unfortunately. But a few days before, when I was sleeping, my brain was some activity because I was aware in my mind, but I could feel the energy, the presence, not physical obviously, but the energy of a guru. And from time to time, sometimes I'm not conscious, I'm not aware, I don't realize, I don't feel it, but sometimes yes. I don't feel it. It doesn't mean it wasn't there, but it's just my limitation. But sometimes I'm really conscious, aware, and feeling this presence. And it's some people in Western people, which is more difficult to believe in God or believe in spirituality here, because how should I believe in God? And this, faith crisis is very useful words. It's using a lot of people of oh no, I have a faith crisis. I cannot have a faith crisis, because how can I have a faith crisis if I'm feeling Nannagaru's presence? This is not a question of faith. It's a question of I'm seeing you. I don't need to have faith to believe you are alive. I'm watching at you right now. So
you know it.
I know it. So if I'm feeling Nannagaru's or his presence, how do you think? How do you feel? You don't have any crisis. I don't have the chance to have any crisis because I'm touching it. So
yes. I mean, it's basically what you're trying to tell is that when you're connected to your guru, which we call guru because we need to give an external term to it, but when we're connected to our spiritual heart, though we haven't completely realized and have an experience of it completely, we have a connection, like the train compartments have a connection to the engine, the train to go on track.
Perfect.
So we have a connection to this engine called spirituality, or our spiritual master. So the engine keeps us on track and keeps moving.
Absolutely.
So where's the point of compartments not having faith in the engine?
It's crazy. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think this example is an apt one.
Yeah.
Engine connects itself to we connect compartments to the engine, and it goes with the engine. How many ever compartments you link to the engine goes on the track. And the driver, of course, is the guru.
Of course.
The spiritual heart is the engine, and the driver is the guru.
Of course. Better that way.
And so it's not like how do compartments have faith in the engine?
It's like that. Yes. Totally. It's very, very zoom up. Very good.
So, I mean, when truth directs your life, I mean, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful, Enrique. I mean, we recognize it. When the guru points it out, we recognize that we've been guided all through. As you said, you were guided to come to Nannagaru through your life before you met him. You were already prepared to meet him. I mean, your life.
Yeah. The voice is in and out
Nannagaru,
now. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Like there's a disconnection in the voice. Yeah. So it was like meeting of Nannagaru. There was an earlier preparation from childhood.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's beautiful. Yeah. So everything happens for a reason. And there is also a place where Nana says, no, one devotee comes to Bhagwan and says, I don't know, I am in love with you. Because a little time in the presence of Bhagwan, he feels this intense love for Bhagwan. And he says, Bhagwan, I'm totally in love with you. And he says, I don't see a cause or reason for it. Then Bhagwan says, the very reason or very cause that you are born on this earth, that is the same reason for you to love me. That cause and this cause are the same.
Yeah.
That reason, so your very birth, the reason for your very birth is the reason for loving Bhagwan or any spiritual master.
Yes.
So you were in love with him. You knew it when you met him. You knew it when you met him.
Yeah, of course. It was like completely fall in love with, but you realizing more and more afterwards when these feelings were growing, and then you were digesting all these big things that happens inside of you. So it's the same process than the enlightenment. When you get enlightened, you need a time to everything get ascend, no? Settle down.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I haven't experienced it, but there are some people who has experienced this. It's like something very strong, and then when it happens, then you need some time to understand inside of you what happened and what is happening. No? So it's like that. No, when I met Nannagaru, I realized day after day, month after month, how important it was. Yeah. And I would like to meet him more, but I think once was enough. It's still here. So
of course
it happens.
Of course,
like it happens because it happens how it has.
Yeah. So, no, like you said recently, like few days back that you felt his presence strongly. Yeah. So he was knocking. Enrique, it's your turn to speak.
I don't know if it's his presence or divine energy. I decodificate like Nannagaru's. I don't know, but I feel what I felt when I was with him. So
no, because they're not different. They're not different. Because the divine energy and Nannagaru's presence are not two separate things. They're not different. It's the same. Yeah. That's why, we attribute it to Nannagaru, and Nannagaru is not the body.
Or maybe you were praying, thinking about me. I don't know. I don't know. Only God knows. But I know what I felt. and it was what I'm trying to explain.
Yeah. I mean, it's, as you said, it's the engine, the spiritual engine, which drives our life. Yeah. And if you are more receptive, the more receptive you get, the more you realize that only the divine exists and you don't exist. So like Bhagwan asks, God exists or not is immaterial. Do you exist or not?
It's very good. It's very good.
So he says, yes, I exist. So who is that exists? Ask yourself, who am I?
Is that you or God?
So, I actually interrupted here. I'll finish this and I'll let you speak. So in your deep sleep, you do not identify with anything, but you're peaceful. Because you have asked this, I wanted to complete it, Enrique, because you asked me what happens in sleep. So I should complete it. I should not leave this incomplete. So what happens is, it's the truth that Nana or Bhagwan has explained is that in your sleep, you are not identified with anything because your mind, the seat of your mind is the brain. Seat of your mind is brain. And once the mind comes to the brain, all these activities start. So the moment we wake up from sleep, the mind comes into the brain and all these functions or activity or the body identity that I am so and so, I am Usha or I am Enrique and I need what activity I need to do next. All this comes once the mind comes into the brain. But in sleep, in deep sleep, the mind goes back to its source from where it has taken birth.
Yeah.
So in sleep, the mind goes back from the brain to the spiritual heart. This is the explanation given, Enrique, because you wanted to know what happens in sleep. This was already explained many times by Nannagaru. In sleep, the mind goes back to its source, its birthplace, the spiritual heart, and that's when you fall off to sleep. See, even when you're sitting and sleeping, suppose you're sitting in meditation and you get to sleep, your head will not be straight. Your head will drop. Because your mind seat is brain, and when the mind is not in the brain anymore, it goes to the heart, to its source. You go to sleep and you do not have an orientation of the head. It's a common sense. It's logical.
Yeah.
Okay. And also, when somebody asks, who are you? You say, I am so and so, right? You point here. You don't say, I am so and so. Why don't you point out to say, I am Enrique or I am Usha? You say, I am Usha.
Yeah.
See, even involuntarily, if somebody asks who are you, you say, I am Usha or I am Enrique. You don't say, I am Usha or I am Enrique.
No. Yes.
Why here? Why here? Because the true heart is here.
Yes.
Your home is here. Your true residence is there.
Temple.
So, yes, the temple is there. That's why heaven, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Every master said that, not just Nannagaru. Everybody spoke only the truth. Those who realized the truth spoke only truth. And they don't expect anything from you. They don't need anything from you because they know they are not the body, they are not the mind. They are oneness and they don't see anything apart from them. So there's nothing they seek. So out of compassion, they make you wake up from the illusion that you are so and so.
Yeah.
They are here to make us awake, aware that we are not the illusion and we need to wake up in the truth. And the truth is beauty, beauty is truth. There's no other beauty. All fake beauty, all fake beauty.
Yes.
So, that state of sleep, that state of deep sleep, when you are awake is realization. This is what all the masters said, Enrique. Your deep sleep state, when you are aware. In deep sleep, you are not aware of the deep sleep. So deep sleep state, in your awareness is self-realization. Yeah. So then,
hours.
Yes. So you will be in a state of deep sleep, but not unconscious, totally conscious and aware. So in sleep, you are not the body. In sleep, you don't perceive the world. In sleep, you do not perceive anything, but you're very much at peace with yourself. So in awareness, you will be peace, you will be love, you will be the beauty, you will be the divine, without separateness or without otherness. And that is the highest help you can do for yourself and others when in this body. And that's the only true help. Rest all is ego-based, rest all is mind-based.
Yeah.
So, our very purpose of life is to realize that true self which we truly are and leave all this mind-created stuff.
Yeah.
That, like Bhagavan said, accept truth, accept the ultimate reality. Everything is created by the mind. And that is not the mind. That is a state beyond body, mind, and intellect.
Yeah.
And how to get there? Only through concentration and purity. Purity. And how do you get pure? As you said, I was like, what message do you give to the Western world? You said, see, when I poke in my eye, it hurts. Similarly, any wrong done anywhere, we are all interlinked. So the hurt is felt by the humanity. The wrong actions that we do hurts people at large. So do good, be good. I mean, all these basic foundations which the scriptures told. Scriptures were, our map, guides to tell us how you should live to attain this state. It doesn't happen overnight, as you said. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you speak a few words before we close this session, because it's your session and people would love to listen from you.
Yeah, but I totally agree with everything you said. It's a very nice session. Everything is said. I think it's mainly, like an old proverb says, all in the Roman times, all the ways leads to Rome.
Yes.
So you spoke and I agree, and we spoke about all of us we are one, and do good, and the meditation and focus and illusion of the outer world, and all of these things. I totally agree, and it's good to realize and to keep on track, like the train, So what else should I say? Everything is said, no? Usha, it's good to be here with you.
Yeah.
And,
it was wonderful having you here, Enrique. Yeah, I know that the journey with Nana in physical body was just once and very short-lived, but the essence is eternal.
Enough. Yes, more than enough.
Essence is eternal.
I would love to visit him more, physically talking, but keep with us.
But I think, I know, as you said, no, all paths lead to the same goal. Not everybody requires a constant physical, company. For some, just a look is enough. For some, a touch is enough. That silent communion is enough. Yeah. So as you said, it's not the quantity, it's the quality.
The quality, absolutely. Yeah. High quality.
So Nana, yeah, high quality.
Nana is top. Is the top of a mountain.
Yeah. And see, no matter how much we heard from him or no matter how much we travel with him, Nana always says, no, see, suppose bees come from other places, take the honey and leave. And there could be frogs in the pond around the flowers, not even taking the nectar. So it's not how long you had the company of saints, it's how much you have imbibed it into your being. So that way, many Westerners had this beautiful experience of divinity in his presence, Enrique.
Yeah.
Though they visited very few times, many of these foreigners, though probably not many could come constantly, but the essence that they had, imbibed in his presence in silence, probably people who traveled for 30 years with him couldn't.
Yeah. In my family were 3. My brother, me, and my uncle. Not bad, eh?
Yeah.
Not bad.
And as Bhagavan says, no, see, Bhagavan, one devotee asks, now since you're leaving, I think that time Bhagavan had cancer of his hand, and time was nearing that he had to leave his body. So one of the devotees cries in front of Bhagavan, now see, all these years we were experiencing grace in your presence. We were experiencing a lot of beauty and holiness in your presence. Now once we lose the physical connection, I mean, once you leave the physical frame, what about us? What happens to us? Then Bhagavan says, the one that was blessing you all through was never the body.
Yeah.
And that which blesses you always will continue to do so because it was never body.
So nice.
Yeah. So grace continues. It's just that frame through which it got expressed does not exist anymore. But the one that is filling your life with grace has been there always. Because we identify with a name and a form, we take them also as name and form. And that's the very reason they take name and form and come, because or else we cannot connect to them. What is abstract cannot be perceived by this feeling of me or body-bound I. So he takes a body, he appears to you, he teaches you in a language you understand, be it silence or through words, and make you understand your true source is within, and the purpose of human life is to attain that truth, which is reality, or else there is no peace. Peace is there alone. We know it or not, we pursue it or not, that's the truth. And as you said, no, your friend, before realization, there was a lot of suffering. After realization, he understood, if he looked back, why was all this suffering for?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It was so beautiful, Enrique, that you could visit Nana and you could feel the grace in the heart, and your pointer to the goal was, like it was like taking you the all in that short span of time. Nannagaru held your hand, took you to the goal, and showed you this is it.
Absolutely.
So rest of you, he's already showed your goal. So the rest of your journey is just to leave the notion, whatever you thought was you, just leaving that.
Yeah. Yeah, I went in the best moment for me there. I was in the now I realize it's preparation, previous preparation, and then in the 100% good moment,
yes,
I was there. So yeah, everything happens for good.
Yes. So how do you take spirituality in your practical life?
Now, with a little boy, my meditation counts very few, but sadhana, at least according what I think is sadhana can takes a lot of different ways. So, for example, look after my kid is if you focus on the right way, can be a good sadhana, practice of sadhana. So now I have no real time to be in calm, to be in silence, to meditate, but I'm learning from my kid also. I'm learning.
Of course.
And also experience spirituality through my kid, looking after him, and this sometimes without I'm not realizing, but sometimes even in the difficulties in the job or whatever, with the work, you can focus things better with more calm, as you said before, no? So I'm not practicing, like a monk, like a priest, praying, eating, now praying again. Like this is not possible. But if you can change and focus things properly. Like, for example, look after your kid like a way of sadhana,
Yes. Yes,
and also
everything you do is a meditation.
ha, ha,
Yeah.
ha. Or if your intention is to do it as a meditation, there will be such an important part of it.
Yes.
So
Yes, if
this,
your living itself, not necessarily you sit in one place and meditate, your living itself can be a meditation, Enrique. And that's
yeah,
what is the beauty about Nannagaru or Bhagwan's teaching. Your very
being
life
conscious.
is not different from spirituality.
Mm.
Yeah.
There will be a little bit later a time with more calm that I can sit and meditate. But now my meditation is a little bit more sportive. And now it comes my kid.
We would like to have your kid's darshan. What's his name? Hello?
He's here.
What's his name?
Enrique. Enrique, like me.
Oh, it's
Like
are you
me,
named?
yeah.
Oh, he's also Enrique.
And ven, Enrique, ven. He doesn't speak English, but
No problem. Hello.
hola.
Hello. Oh, hola. Oh man, how sweet. Sweet little kid.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful to see him, Enrique.
Yeah.
It's like Nannagaru coming in between to give darshan.
This is part of my sadhana.
So you can take care of him. Yeah. He's part of your sadhana. You take care of him the way you can take care of Nannagaru.
Mm.
So this is another part of sadhana, Enrique. A very beautiful point here. That if you can see your guru in everybody.
Yeah.
Be it your spouse or your kid or your neighbor or your everybody.
We are one.
We are one.
So
So there's no, if you don't have doership.
yeah.
So there's no doer. So it's all one. So it's just a perspective.
Yeah. Good.
So instantly you can make everything beautiful.
Yeah. Even a slap is full of grace.
Okay.
No, I never. I will never do it. But you know, there's in India there's some gurus that to initiate the devotees, they give some slap or something.
Yeah, certain gurus do that. Yes.
And it says, I don't know, I haven't experienced it, but it says that they awake from spirituality. You know, they you know.
Yeah. I mean, like they have unique characteristics. You can't judge them, no, by their physical actions. We can't judge them by their physical actions.
Yeah.
But definitely, as you said, anything from a Sadguru, be it beating or anything.
Bless.
I mean, that's a gross way to convey that. A subtle way to convey that is the difficulties or obstacles in your destiny. Or what you feel is an obstacle is also we need to understand is also grace to make you better, to make you more deeper, to get you back to the source. Probably there are certain things that your soul has to go through. So take everything as his gift. Everything that happens in your life. So Nana always used to say, nothing comes to you without God's knowledge of it.
Of course.
Maybe you do not have a knowledge of it. So that nothing comes to you without his knowledge. So, and he wouldn't give you anything that is harmful to you. See, now you will not give anything harmful to your kid.
Of course.
You will only give him what is good for him. Suppose he crawls or he walks and he puts something, a sharp object in his mouth, you will remove it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you will give him the right food. You will not give him what he wants. You will give him what is right for him.
Right.
Similarly, if as a parent we ourselves love our kids so much that we give only what is good for them, definitely a guru or God gives only what is best for us.
Mm.
Maybe it tastes bitter. Maybe the experience is not good. I feel maybe I don't need this. But he will not send anything that you do not need.
Yeah.
Yeah. So accept it with grace. Be adaptable. Be flexible, and let anything come. Accept it with grace, and through acceptance comes surrender. And so the more and more we surrender to the Almighty, to the higher power, we become more and more little and little, and we become subtle, and then we become the huge.
Of course.
That is oneness. I mean, we reduce as the ego, we become smaller and smaller as the ego, and then one day we disappear and awaken as the whole. Awaken as the whole,
Yeah.
the universal
More like
energy.
children. Less ego, more like children.
Yes. Yeah.
We'll be
What
able
else,
to see.
Enrique?
Yeah. You can come to Spain whenever you want.
Oh, definitely. I know, I have my second home there.
Yes.
Luis
Yes.
always says, see, you have your brothers here, brothers from Spain.
Yeah, of
So it's
course.
like you are welcome anytime. So it's like, yeah, and of course,
I'll be back over there as soon as circumstances let us, you know.
yes,
But yeah.
yeah.
I have to
You're,
I have to be back. I mean, I'm linked to India for a lot of reasons, but I have to I obviously have to visit Arunachala,
yes,
and but I also would like to be back to
yes.
Jinnu,
Jinor,
to
yes, yes,
Yamana Shetram,
yes.
to your place, to and
Definitely, definitely. Sometime
mm,
when things get better, I think both of you can plan a visit to India, or if both of you can't make it at once, you can come alone also, Louis one time and you one time. You just have to keep in touch. We will guide you here and you can go stay for some time.
and
Yeah, yeah. Of course, His grace would follow you everywhere.
and you, thanks a lot.
Yes, yeah. So, any more you would want to convey, Enrique?
I hope I see you all soon because my
Yeah,
brother
sure.
knows a lot of Nannagaru's devotees. I know much less than him, but
Yeah.
the people I met when I was there, it was completely beautiful people, beautiful
Mm,
people
mm,
inside.
mm. Yes,
So
yes. And I think you have imbibed a lot from your uncle also because he was quite spiritual all through his life.
ah,
And he was quite
yeah.
connected to India and Indian
Yes,
masters,
yes.
especially Ramakrishna Paramahamsa.
Yeah. His first master, his first guru, it was a Swami from Ramakrishna's order.
Yes,
He
yes.
was living in France.
Mm.
So I met him first, and when I was a little child, he came to my house when I
Mm.
was 4 or 5 years, and he
Yes,
gave me a present,
yes.
a small sweet for candy or something for a kid with a orange shape. I can remember perfectly. I was a child, but I never forget. It was
Yeah,
so good, so
yeah,
smooth, Swami
yeah, yeah.
person. And afterwards, lot of Swamis passed by my house. It's not
Huh.
common now. You can see more Swamis in the big cities here in Madrid, Barcelona,
Yes, yes.
but at
Those
those
days.
days, a Swami here is like a Martian. So, but in my house, lot of Martians passing by. So,
Yeah.
so I was connected. My family and was connected to India since I was a little
A
child.
long
So,
time. Yes,
yeah.
yes, yeah.
So that's
Very good.
it.
So everything happens for a reason, and the reason is grace.
100%, 100%.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Enrique. It's been wonderful
Thank
to be
you.
with you today. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I have
And
taken
you.
a lot of your space, actually.
No, why? No.
No, maybe because of the fact that, like I mean, you will want me to interact so that it's easier for you.
No. It was, you are wiser than me, spiritually talking, so for,
No.
for me, it's good you to talk more than me. So
No, it's
we
not.
share, we share, we share,
Yeah,
we
it's
share.
not.
It was,
Maybe it's not wiser. It's about communication. I think it's not. Maybe you're much more wiser, Enrique.
no. I don't know, but my pleasure. It was a real pleasure, like always, to be with you.
Yeah. Yes. Thank
And
you.
hopefully see you soon
Yes,
without screen.
of course. Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you, and Om Shri Nana Paramatmane Namaha.
Guru Rupamo Giri Rupamo Srinanapadame Maku Saranyam